some dude like in the Dark Ages, just figured shit out, right?
Yeah.
And then like,
Had
hey,
the right caveman language. Ugga thugga. That rock just turned into a banana. Ugga thugga, ugga thugga, ugga thugga, ugga thugga. I got a lot of bananas.
I mean, that is true.
And
that is true.
Unless we come up with a way to combat it, they could just sprinkle something on our planet and it overtake us, make us sick, and drop our plant, our population down to 100,000, or
right.
And then enslave us because now we're manageable,
Or we're just some filthy ass pigs and we get them sick and they die.
Yeah. War of Worlds, they think that they're here and they think they're medicine and technology, and but we're like, we have STDs. Probe if you
do your part for democracy.
His head just exploded. Now you feel like a Super Saiyan because you can explode alien heads with a chew.
Just a cough. Just a cough.
Oh, back to wizards. A chew, a chew, a chew.
Ugga thugga. I don't think that was a banana, but okay.
Ugga thugga.
Yeah. Right, exactly. That's funny. Like, how do you think that, like, is it more of the love and attachment of the toy, or is it more of the trauma of the event?
I would probably chalk it up to both, either or. If you have a child that was, let's say, battling cancer, don't want to put any bad juju out in the universe, but things happen,
right?
And you got this young kid that has a doll and loses the battle, and there's a lot of sentimental value to that toy, and maybe it just has a weird feeling, and now that you have it in your house, and now you just feel like you're being watched, and it's not necessarily being haunted. The doll isn't being haunted by a bad spirit or a bad entity or any bad intentions along with it, but it's just this eeriness that something is now attached to something and hasn't figured out how to move on, and is kind of like tethered to it. Anybody that messes with it and angers its haunting, tragic things end up happening to said individuals. And that's kind of the whole theory of the thing being so haunted and kind of dangerous. I want to say the Annabelle doll is probably the closest thing to a real SCP.
Probably. We probably do have an SCP, specifically maybe the spiritual version of it, so to speak.
I don't know. There's an SCP that's a teddy bear, and I don't think it's haunted. It's just a Chucky doll of a teddy bear. Maybe we'll, let me know in the comments if you want me to bring up the SCP teddy bear, and maybe I'll go into detail about that one. So let me know what you guys think.
Yeah, I think that's going to be something that I'm kind of interested in too.
That doesn't really have any tie-in, but it just kind of made me think toy, bad juju, definitely that thing.
Right. So like the dragon from Dragon Ball Z, what would that be considered as?
That would be, you're talking about Shenron?
Yeah, Shenron.
Yeah, Shenron would be more like your Chinese snake dragon, your mythical wish upon a star kind of thing. I want to bring Vegeta back. Your wish has been granted. What else do you want? A sandwich? You wished me here for a sandwich. I mean, yeah, why not have a cosmic power being make you something so simple? I don't know, makes you feel bigger about yourself. I don't know. What did you do yesterday? I made this almighty genie dragon make me a sandwich. You could have had millions of dollars. You could have had the perfect life, and you wished for a sandwich. It's pretty epic.
That's funny.
Well, I have a tinfoil hat wearing theory that maybe dragons still live amongst us.
Okay.
We talk about having lizard people, and dragons are very wise, don't die unless they're killed. They live for thousands and thousands of years, and even the ancients and largest of dragons according to lore or whatever, you know, maybe they do have some powerful magic, because like dragons are usually the king of the food chain when we talk about like magical entities and stuff like that. So who's to say that, you know, dragons don't shapeshift and live amongst us and, you know, use their magic to transform themselves into a human person, and you know, you would never know.
I mean, true, yeah. I mean, if we're
maybe they tell their own stories, and that's how the lore gets spread.
Hey, that
I
one
once
time.
saw a dragon 1,300 years ago, and wait, 1,300 years ago? How were you alive back then?
I heard
an interesting story. Funny how you heard that story, but I've never heard any of that kind of stuff.
Right.
You know, they even mention it in the Matrix, I believe. You know, it's like, oh, you hear about werewolves and vampires, but those were just glitches and bugs in the mainframe that went haywire, and then the agents eventually found them and cleaned them up, you know. Having like a secret government organization but doesn't operate as a government for the people. It operates as a systems check. So people do whatever they want, but if a vampire starts chomping on necks, and it's like, that's not supposed to be a part of this game. We need to fix that. Find it, fix it, get rid of it. And now it's just a hocus pocus story because of a blip in the Matrix.
Okay, so more along the lines of not coming from a different simulation, but more along the lines of being like a mutative virus of some sort in the actual simulation itself.
Possibly.
Okay, yeah, that actually sounds.
Here.
Oh yeah, of course. All this is speculation and theory. There's more of a chance of it being a simulation than not being a simulation, because either we are one of infinite amounts of simulations, or we're the original one.
I don't know.
You
That's some Inception kind of stuff right there. You know, even talking about like AI and robotics and stuff like that. You know, you know, are we the creators, or is it another Rick and Morty episode of Inception where, you know, where this Rick in this universe created a micro universe, and then he found a way to go visit that micro universe and to a planet that was powering his car, and then they were devising a micro universe to power their world, and Rick's not getting enough energy from his because he's getting an energy from energy, and it's not giving him any energy anymore. So
right, kind of going down the rabbit hole, you know, layer after layer after layer to find out where the issue is. Yeah,
you know, it's like what created us? We created Minecraft, and Minecraft's universe is huge. So
right.
You know, it's, where does it start? Where does it stop? Where does it end? Is this the string theory? Is this the many world scenarios, the dimensions we live next to? We actually created it and we didn't realize it, or is it something else? Maybe that's where the glitches come from, you know, deja vu, and it's just the computer lagging, and you're like, didn't we just see that again? And to them it was just like the re-rendering. They had to turn it off, turn it back on, restart it, and you're just like, wait, did I just witness a glitch?
Yeah, the whole what was that whole theory, like 2 a.m. Tuesday morning theory, or glitch, that's what it was, where there was a whole group of people that believe that every Tuesday morning at 2 a.m. or maybe it's 3 a.m. I don't know, somewhere in that area.
It sounds about right.
Right. That their region of the world resets, and then it's just a rolling, you know, kind of going by time zones. I mean, that would be kind of interesting if that is the case, to see if there's anything that happens. And if that is the case, if we are up at that time and nothing happens that we can perceive, is it happening when we go to refresh, i.e. go to sleep or take a nap, where it kind of, there you go. Now you're updated. Yeah, at
have a
that point.
red hat freaking wandering your lawn, I think I'd be a little worried. So you think he's just, oh, it's a cute garden gnome. I like his little red hat, until you find out why it's red.
Well, let's go a little bit into that. What is the difference between just the regular garden gnome and a red hat?
Well, I would say regular garden gnome is probably your more peaceful, like your Smurfs, you know, they have their own little town or something. But your red cats, now, they're a little more menacing. They like to capture people and dye their hats in the blood of their victims.
Damn, that went really dark.
Yeah. so yeah, you think your little cute garden gnome with his little red pointy hat out there, but when you know the real origin story of why their hat is red, you're gonna look at it a little differently.
Yeah, just a little bit. Nah, you got me worried about getting like little statues for my lawn.
Yeah, be wary of your fairy gardens that you guys are building out in your front yards or whatever. You know, if you want to keep things away, yeah, sure, put a red cap in your front lawn, and you know, rabbits will know what that means, and you won't see a rabbit. Like even finding a leprechaun's gold, like the gold is said to be magical in a sense. Like you can wish on a coin and throw it into a pond or a wishing well or something, and that wish can come true, or you end up tricking the leprechaun. You know, maybe not like the movie Leprechaun, if anybody knows that old movie. It's like, I wish to have the pot of gold. You didn't say where you wanted the pot of gold. If you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. But I won't go into the details. You know, so it's like a monkey paw kind of thing. Be careful what you wish for, because you might not like what you wished for.
Yeah, that sounds like a bad idea. All in itself right there.
I want to be surrounded by gold, and like 10 tons of gold just appear above your head and crush you. And now the leprechaun's got all his gold.
Got to be very specific.
Very. Even then, for a creature of magic and lived for hundreds of years, and it's just like, oh, you think you can outthink me? Let me throw a riddle at you.
Yep, the battle of wits.
It's a statue. You blink, and there's nobody else looking at it. You're gonna have a really bad day.
So it's like a staring contest with a statue.
Pretty much. Yep, exactly. But if you blink, you die. So
life and death. You gotta love it. Gotta love it.
It's not your typical tortilla slap challenge, you know. This thing, say power goes out, SCP-0 has connectivity to the power grid or something, and gets out of containment, shuts down the backup generators, and some craziness transpires before they get it back under control. Power goes out, power flickers. In a blink like that, SCP-173 has been known to kill at least two, of the D class, when the power flicks. Power flicks, there's one neck, power's back on. You're looking around, making sure you find it, and you're like, I hope the power doesn't let me out of the room, let me out of the room, let me out of the room, let me out of the room. I'm not blinking. Oh crap, I blinked and now it's right here. Somebody let me out of the room, somebody let me out of the room.
That's funny.
It would be a gnarly thing. And being a D class, you're probably not going to have the door open for you.
Right.
They're just going to take the chance. The power might blink again. The Foundation is just going to take a loss for some D class. And we're definitely not. And what I'm about to bring up is known as the Weeping Angels.
Okay, that sounds very ominous.
It is. And it brings up the SCP I would like to talk about, kind of as a main key thing. And I'm sure some of my fans out there that are into this SCP realm are maybe getting a little excited. I'm hoping you're getting excited because you know what's about to come up. So all my Whovians out there, so this thing is immensely strong and can move very quickly. And if you blink, it can close the distance on you pretty darn quick. And it's an ultimate don't blink challenge. And this could be a good thing for you, could not be a good thing for you. Depends on how you view the situation. If you're kind of an outcast and you feel like you were born in the wrong time, this just might be the entity you want to come across.
Okay. I wonder.
682. Now why? Why did you kill those farmers? If you don't talk now, we will remove you from this test and place you back in containment, where you can have a nice acid soap.
CP682, the unkillable adaptive lizard.
And I'm not assuming it's probably like a little garden lizard or an iguana, right?
It could be.
Okay.
It's generally the size of, I want to say, a great white shark, but it can change its size, strength, skin. It has been tested against other SCPs, one in hopes to destroy one or the other, or both, depending, and it is pretty intense. They basically have to contain it in a vat of acid just to keep it weak, to keep it contained, and has been known to be provoked from people messing with it, trying to have a conversation with it, because it does have human intelligence, if not higher.
I mean, I don't know how they would be technically classified.
No, Boogie seems to be terrified of them, so that's saying something.
I mean, that is saying something. Yes, that is very true. But they are essentially a modern urban legend, right? And the reason why I say that is because they actually were kind of first mentioned in the late 90s. I know it was around then. I know you were too.
It was us.
Yeah, right. But essentially, these are kids that would just approach you, whether it be at your home or maybe at your car. And usually they're younger, maybe 6, 16, somewhere in there, some of that age range. And at first, they look like kind of normal kids, right? Until you look at their eyeballs. And then that's where they get their namesake.
Holy crap, I think that kid's a skinwalker.
Right. That's where
Something's
their namesake comes from, is the fact that they do not have any white in their eyes at all. No pupils, just a solid black mask. And that would be creepy as shit. And I agree with Boogie.
Demons and them children.
Or maybe they are demons.
The black-eyed kids are just like looking at each other, and they're just like, this dumbass is gonna get eaten.
Well, yeah, no, and that's just the thing is out of all the stories that I've read so far, which is quite a bit of them, none of them ever say, hey, yeah, I let them in. They're nice people. Shoot, we chit-chatted on the couch. And
something like that. I don't suppose it would be a nice entry. Thanks for letting me in. Your soul is mine. What?
But, I mean, the thing is, though, is a lot of these parallels that we can draw from other folklore, there we go, is that as what you mentioned prior to, it's very much like not demons, but vampires, that they need the invitation to come in.
These are vampire children. That's what they are.
Maybe that might be the case. Now, do you watch the TV show Ghosts on CBS?
I did probably a long time ago.
Okay.
And watched a couple episodes, and
it's kind of funny. I know it's a certain flavor of comedy, but maybe to take a little bit of a theory of theirs would be maybe, when you're turning into a ghost, or you turned into a ghost, and you're actually able to get maybe certain types of abilities. So like someone might be able to physically manipulate a coffee cup, or maybe make noises, to communicate with, the living, I guess, in that aspect, or manipulate electricity, stuff like that. Like, I mean, do you think that like something like that might be the case, or something more along the lines of everybody that is a spirit, ghost, whatever, has that kind of ability?
If you're kind of talking like white noise, where they kind of figured out how to communicate by leaving a TV on static, and the entity, they could tell when it was close because it would affect the radios and the TVs, and you could kind of see it or communicate, or at least detect that it was near or coming from a certain angle or something like that. It's been a while since I watched White Noise.
Okay.
I think we need to talk about the fact of like a soul in itself, Is there a good place, a bad place, an in-between place? How is it all weighed? What does it all mean? Some deeper questions of the other side we just don't know.
Right, obviously.
And so like maybe it's kind of like your situation where you pass away, but you weren't great enough to get into the good place, and not horribly horrible enough to be tortured for the rest of eternity. So now you've been given a test or left in this in between, and they kind of see if you are you going to turn into a bad ghost and haunt people, or are you going to turn a new cheek and be like good karma from people, maybe a guardian angel, and try to prove yourself to be worthy in the good place.
Oh, not to get too weird, but do you remember that movie Hellraiser from the 90s?
A little bit.
I guess
it wasn't one of my
80s.
favorite movies, but I do know of it.
Okay, so the whole premise of it is that these creatures come out of this cube, right? And they want to take the soul of, or I guess the person technically, of the one that opened the cube, right? And their whole shtick is pain is pleasure. And in order to get the most pleasure, you need to suffer the most pain, right?
Okay.
This would be like, I don't know, like a ball gag almost for them.
I see what you did there.
This is back when I was in high school. You've been to that place many of times there, Mr. K. So we would be sitting on this couch that would be kind of opposing the front window, right? And it's a big old, picture window, nice and wide. You can kind of see the whole front yard and whatever. And there's a ramp that goes right up to the front, and it leads right to the front door. And here we are, we're all sitting down, we're watching some TV show or whatever the case may be. And we're all just paying attention what's on TV. And me and my wife look over at this picture window because we thought we saw something out of a corner of our eye, walk up, right? And we are waiting, like someone's like gonna knock on the door, and no one ever freaking walks up and knocks on the door. And we're like, okay, like this is kind of weird. Apparently this is something that's happened numerous times to my wife and her family, seeing that they lived there for pretty much all my wife's life and stuff like that. So they were kind of used to that. Hey.
I kind of got to the point in the paranormal where, I'm like, well, you're trying to be a spooky ghost and freak me out. And I don't know, it was just kind of like a mental overwhelmness that, like, well, you're the weak one here. I'm in the physical world, and you're dealing and touching on the veil. And I kind of got, I don't know, ballsy, I guess you could say, with it. And I was like,
come at me, bro.
I'm like, yeah, come at me. Like, I'm not in here with you. You're in here with me. And ever since I kind of found that confidence in myself with the paranormal, whatever, my experiences kind of died then and there, and didn't didn't really have anything creeping up on me really since, you know. Knock on wood, you know, I don't need any roommates, you know, so no challenge accepted kind of crap. So.
Yeah. Your next door neighbor just so happened to move out, and then all of a sudden, oh, hey, now I got roommates. Nice.
Right.
Oh, boy.
Say, you know, you're a vampire, you've been around for a couple hundred years now, you've got even a companion or something. You know, you've saved up your money, you know, you've lived a long life, you've made some good decisions. You're kind of on top of the world now from just time.
Mm-hmm.
And you have a mansion, you know, that you stay at or get out of the sun. And would you be able to enter your own place, or would you have to have some kind of companion, a butler, maybe a second vampire to let you in? Knock, knock. Hey, I'm home. Can you come answer the door and welcome me in so I can go to bed? The sun's about to come up.
Well, I mean, like at that point, like does a doormat that says welcome, is that suffice enough, you know?
Right? Oh, damn it. My roommate removed the welcome sign. You're ding dong, ding dong, ding dong. Hey, come answer the door, you freaking asshole. You removed the welcome mat. Now I can't come in. You know, that's a good way of getting locked out, you know?
Yeah, right. Well, I mean, also at the same time, like if you are, let's say you lived like 500 years, right? And let's say you just got down on your luck. You played the stock market and you lost everything, right? Why would you need to have money to buy a house? You just kill the owner and just take it, right?
Dracula is the vampire, the one that a demon or a god created just for the fun of it. You know, do you think it was a ritual thing, or he tasted the blood of a demon and became a different kind of monster, or, you know?
I mean, to be honest with you, I would just say that it's probably more of like a ritual, maybe. Maybe he's feeding on someone for, I don't know, days on end, right? Kind of playing with his food, and he's like, you know, I grew attached to you a little bit. Let's make you one of me.
Yeah. And you can be my Ghost Rider, and these are your powers.
Right, something like that. I don't know. But I do know that the lore goes essentially, you know, usually they drink them down to near death, and they're like, hey, you want to live? Awesome. Okay. Sweep.
Don't forget
here,
your bendy
drink some
straw.
magic blood. Yeah, get a straw in there. Yeah.
Hey, does that mean Sasuke from Naruto is a vampire? Totally off topic. You know, because how he went through that whole spiel of changing. They basically killed him with the curse mark, and then he came back. Any of my Naruto fans out there might know what I'm talking about, but now I can't unsee Sasuke as a vampire. He's a creature of the night now.
Just so happens, I'm assuming he probably, or she, ends up walking during the day, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
You know,
right.
he had to die to make that curse mark unlock to like level 2 in anime talk. And,
okay, gotcha.
You know, so that was a whole process.
All right, enough with the Naruto going on.
There's a couple SCPs that are pretty harmless or have positive effects. SCP-999, the orange goo that makes you happy and euphoric if you touch it.
Okay.
It's basically a big puddle or a big goopy ball of warm hugs.
Sounds like the big pharma's, you know, kryptonite for depression.
yeah. This thing will turn any bad day into good times.
Awesome.
You know, and there's another one that has positive effects, and you can probably understand maybe the severity of why to keep something like this safe would be SCP-006, the Fountain of Youth.
Like the actual fountain of youth that the Spaniards were looking for.
Well, this one's probably a little different. I'm not sure of the story on the Spaniards. We might have to go in depth on that. But for the most part, this Fountain of Youth has supernatural healing effects and almost makes you immortal.
So pretty much the Fountain of Youth.
Pretty much the Fountain of Youth. I know there's other stories of the Fountain of Youth where you drink too much, you maybe turn into a baby, or it has age reversing effects, but this one just gives you the ability to basically be Wolverine. SCP-079 is an old Mac computer that someone developed and was working on AI back, I think, in the 80s, and was teaching it all kinds of stuff and letting it get information from the new internet that was just being produced at the time. And then the researcher that was building it unplugged it or left it plugged into a garage just to have power, not connected to any outside source, so it just had time to learn. And the anomalous effect of it was its data storage. It somehow compressed its memory and everything to have an immense capability from that kind of old tech. And the only real danger it poses is it's ever connected to the internet or allowed to get close to something to where it could jump. Kind of like Ultron in a sense.
So essentially, if one would have to compare it, it'd be just an old-timey AI program.
Right, but it's super smart. So another entity that I like to talk about that kind of helps bring things into perspective is SCP-096. He is known as the Shy Guy, and anyone that sees its face has a death wish.
Okay, so I'm assuming that they know what the Shy Guy looks like and they want to look at him, or is it more of like a death sentence just by accident they see this
doesn't matter, accident or on purpose. If you've seen a photograph of his face or seen his face directly, basically you could be in a dark room with barely any visible light, and if there's light photons that bounce off this thing's face and meet your eyes, even if you don't think you physically saw anything in the room that's with you, it's gonna know you saw its face and it's gonna lose its mind until you're dead. Well, it dates back to 1887.
Holy crap.
Back when the Ottawa tribes were pretty predominant in Michigan.
Okay.
And they have tales and sightings of a human-like dog creature, a wolf creature.
Now, is this not to be mixed up with like the Wendigo or maybe a skinwalker?
I mean, it's very closely related. Other people that have heard about the Michigan Dogman have related it to like Bigfoot or the Wendigo. Yeah, so I guess it's kind of similar. Apparently it's a werewolf with special, I don't know how to call it,
abilities?
well, not abilities. I mean, it's strong and it's a big creature.
Okay.
But you know how like werewolves only appear on a full moon?
Once a month, you know?
Well, this one isn't just kind of to a full moon.
All right.
It appears every 10 years.
Every decade.
Kind of like, yeah, so it's a decade thing that happens to pop up. So 10 years, and it's been, so maybe it's a person that transforms into a wolf, you know, and it becomes a werewolf for a year every 10 years. Well, I kind of want to hear some of your theories. I mean, you live in Michigan, and maybe you got some thoughts on Dogman.
Well, I mean, I've heard of him. I haven't done any like major research into him or anything like that. So I guess the theory that I would probably have is I don't know, probably of the.
Do you think it's plausible? Do you think it's just a folk story, or do you think there's enough evidence out there that it could be true? Like,
well, I mean, clearly no one's proved it right. That it exists, so I can't say for certain that that it's true or false. You know, I don't know. I would have to say that I would have to do a little bit more looking into it to give you an honest opinion on whether I think it load of shit or not. You know,
right.
But you know, to be like the devil's advocate, I think it'd be pretty interesting to just say that if it is real, okay, then what else could be real, right?
Oh, that's very true. You know, they're like, hey, have you seen what did you pick up on that SCP-55? They're like, what 55? I don't know. What 55 are you talking about? And they're like, you were sent down to study an SCP, right? And they're like, yeah, I thought I did that, but I don't remember anything about 55. And he's like, well, do you remember saying something that it wasn't a sphere? And he's like, oh yeah, I remember SCP-55. It's definitely not a sphere. And then the researcher's like, wait, 55? You know, it's like, yeah, you just asked me about SCP-55. You remember that thing that's not a sphere? And then the other guy's like, oh yeah, I remember something about not a sphere, but what were we talking about again? It's just like a severe case of Alzheimer's when you're dealing with this entity. It's basically Alzheimer's in an entity. That's probably the best way I can put it.
Yes, I have heard of the Hat Man.
Okay, and it's not always like he's not always there, I guess, if you want to put a gender to it. I don't know if you can with a shadow figure.
Right. Yeah, no, you got your tall humanoid shadow that looks like he's wearing a fedora. Not me. You know, so you know, just my shadowy essence that's haunting you in the night.
right, exactly. But yeah, they're kind of, well, he's kind of attributed to like the phenomenon that is sleep paralysis, where, you know, in the middle of the night you wake up and like you can't move because, you know, our body kind of does this whole like, hey, let's make you stop moving so you can get some sleep, right?
Right. You're not sleepwalking or something crazy.
Right, exactly. So some people would be in that transitional state where their body's still asleep, but they're actually awake. And, you know, I know of people that have actually had this issue, and it's pretty jarring and almost kind of terrifying.
It's happened to me once when I was younger. So I have had a Hat Man situation that you're bringing up.
Universal travel, where you kind of blip out of space and time and travel through the ether and pop back into reality. I don't know.
Sounds like something that Bigfoot does.
some Doctor Strange. Let me spin a circle real quick and step through.
Yeah, right behind a tree conveniently. From your point of view, just walks right behind a tree and what the fuck? Where the hell
Where'd he go? He wasn't even big enough to hide behind that sapling. He just walked through it.
Yeah, that's exactly. That's. Yeah, I have to say that's exactly how it happens.
Some magic, movie magic, where a bus goes in front of somebody real quick and they're gone.
Poof. See ya. Goodbye.
Was I hallucinating, or did I see what I saw?
And it's usually the creepy people that's staring at you that does that.
Yeah, I don't know. If I was an alien and I got spotted where I wasn't supposed to be spotted, and I was kind of like deers in a headlight, what do you do? Oh crap, they
Yeah.
seen me. Now you don't. Well, look over there. What? Oh, where'd that guy go?
Poof. See ya.
And throw some ninja smoke down.
Exactly. So
Do some men in black. Look at the bright light. Where am I at? Who am I? Why am I here?
So by any chance, have you ever heard of the Phoenix Lights? I think it's called
Phoenix lights. Oh yeah, those like
lights.
triangle lights that flew over Phoenix.
Yeah, way back when, I think 90s, maybe 80s. I
Heck
don't know.
yeah, I think a lot of people have heard of that one.
Right. I mean, so like, obviously, if it wasn't military, let's just say it wasn't the military, right? And we just had this formation of lights flying over Phoenix, right? Like, you kind of have to assume, okay, they have to have the technology to get here, right?
Of course.
Why would they want to come here?
I got a different theory. Maybe they've been here. Maybe they've been just like stranded or something, and they're, hidden amongst us, and they still have their intelligence, and they built some things, and the things we see aren't made for interstellar travel just yet. Maybe just like close range stuff that's very high tech.
Obviously back in the 1800s, where people kind of wanting to blame, I don't know, a witch.
There it is. I was wondering. Oh, we're all dying from this illness. There must be a witch in the woods.
Right, exactly. And that's what happens is stuff happens, tragic stuff happens, and they got to find someone to blame. And it just so happened to be I guess lore has it, I should say, that it's this woman that they blame to being a witch. And actually there's like 3 different versions of it. It was a banished woman that was accused of witchcraft and blamed for the illnesses and the bad luck, and her and her baby were banished to, I guess, the woodless forest. I guess
the unforest, the woodless
the unforest
trees.
Yeah, the unforest forest. And unfortunately, seeing that it is a very rugged terrain, and it's kind of a very harsh environment, especially if it's in the middle of winter. Not very many people is going to survive on their own, for an extended period of time. Throw the flash on, and you would see like orbs and stuff like that. I don't know about you, but me, I really don't prescribe to the whole like orbs or something. I mean, do you subscribe to that by any chance?
I mean, I got a couple aspects, like spiritual orbs, ghostly remnants that, kind of like that Japanese take on like some animes where they have that little ball that, floats or whatever, their representation. And other things I think is maybe just bugs or dust floating in the air, and the flash, your eyes are adjusted to the dark and that flash, and it's just kind of like bing. So
I almost want to agree with you in the sense that like orbs, I think they're more of like dirt, dust, maybe mosquito so close to the camera, and it just like blows it out of proportion.
Yeah, that's Bigfoot. It's a blurry bush.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Come on.
I know quite a few buddies that would be like, I pray for the day a clown comes up to me in public. Some of them, I'm pretty sure, would shit their pants and run away and scream like little girls. But there are a few of my friends that would just be like, they would probably put on a show, let them get chased a little bit, and then beat the living hell out of them. Here's your arm. You want your leg back too? The funny part is, nobody knows that we're here right now.
Mm-hmm.
You thought you were the scary clown.
Yeah. I'm not locked in here with you. You're locked in here with me.
Here with me. You ever one hand and clap? Well, that's what it feels like to drive a Ford F-150.
Oh, we're gonna get so much from the Ford community.
Oh yeah. That might have to be edited a little bit. Boogie, help me out. I'm being a knucklehead.
That's funny. That's funny.
I don't know.
It's a good rhyme.
Some Native American
Poetry.
I don't know, poetry. There you go. It's not
funny.
nothing peaceful and nice as the eagle soars through the sunlit sky. Waters run fresh as the animals and creatures watch over you. This thing is just like a bad leprechaun kind of version of that, you know?
Kind of.
Well,
yeah, kind of.
I'll grant you a wish, but it's going to be a monkey paw wish. So I'm having a beard stroking here moment. So let me puzzle this together, I guess. So you're telling me town got sick.
Mm-hmm.
Town started dying.
Mm-hmm.
Town designated witch.
Mm-hmm.
Witch ended up resenting the town for falsely ruining her life.
And her
decides
kids.
to
And her kids' life.
actually become a witch.
Maybe.
Curses the town. Now everybody can't move on to the area because some mystical beyond the veil type thing was like, nah, I keep calling him a witch doctor. Boogie's gonna yell at me.
Boss, it's a plague doctor.
Sorry, Boogie. A plague doctor. Let me correct myself. Plague doctor. But this isn't your run-of-the-mill plague doctor. He looks like a plague doctor, but he doesn't really have clothes. His skin makes him look like a plague doctor.
Oh, so like a mimic.
Kind of.
Okay,
But he only
okay.
mimics one thing. And he's super smart. Like, he's just a really, really smart doctor with all kinds of advanced medicines and stuff like that.
Okay.
Kind of like Santa Claus, if you will, of plague doctors.
Okay. All right.
No, weird reference.
That sounds interesting. That's definitely going to be an episode that we're going to have to dive into also.
So, but the crazy part about him
Mm-hmm.
is he freaking makes zombies.
Okay, hold on. Wait. The guy who is supposed to go around and like cure the plague
I know, it's kind of a catch-22.
creates zombies. Like is he just going around saying, "Hey, you look pretty fucking rough. I have a proposition. I got an opening here, and you want to be a zombie?"
I mean, for a shot in the dark, you actually kind of hit the nail on the head. I
have never heard this before.
No, I know. We haven't talked about this one before. So this is kind of funny. Your guess is spot on in a sense. So get this.
Which plague?
He calls it the pestilence.
Oh, okay. That sounds ominous.
Very, very. Seeing how he has to pretty much you to eliminate it, but he's such a nice, kind doctor that he revives you. And I say that strangely because it's not like, hey, I'm gonna do CPR, 1, 2, 3, cleared. Zzz.
and he just bounces back up and going, woohoo.
I'm assuming you're probably leaning towards the kind of thing, right?
Yeah, ironically enough, he makes zombies.
Yeah, no, like you would think that the plague's bad enough. No, you got to have a zombie outbreak also. That's fantastic.
Yeah. Crazy stuff, man.
Heck yeah. Now is that a story, or is that a more of a?
And we kind of stayed it until it got a little bit darker and darker, and then eventually pretty much night, sat in. And because what are teenagers going to do? They're going to go try to push the limits and try to, I don't know, around and find out, I guess,
I guess, white people have the balls of steel. Hey, that looked like an evil ghost. Let's go poke it with a stick.
Right. The white woman with the unknowing, ability to go and grab a baby bear and say, hey, I want to keep this.
Oh, look at the little doggy. Yeah. I guess some people have the knack for the supernatural, and they're just like, oh, a monster that could eat me. It's cute.
I want to take it home.
I want to pet it. Oh, my arm's gone. Interesting.
But it's going to take some time to get used to.
Hat on once in a while. Ooh. You brought up a fun conversation. I would love to talk about my tinfoil hat wearing theory at some point. So, my tinfoil hat theory about a tinfoil hat theory.
But how do you like a concrete rebar statue that'll snap your neck when you stop looking at it? So
I know that would be kind of a scary situation to be in. That's for sure.
The ultimate don't blink challenge.
Right. What's that game that we used to play as kids? The staring contest.
Yeah, the staring contest. Yeah,
there we go.
Staring contest of
with
life.
A statue. With a statue.
With a statue. Why am I staring at this statue? It's like watching paint dry. But for your life.
Well, I know there's a lot of it that you've been telling me about. Not in great detail, obviously, because I want to have an audience view of this, and maybe ask some questions.
It's still fun to share.
Right. But I know like there's some that's going to be tied in with some of the topics that we're going to be bringing up, and hopefully it's a little nugget of paranormal / fan made situation. We're here on YouTube. You're watching us here. Don't forget to shoot over to our Facebook page. We have a business page, and we also have a fan page. The business page is where you can actually, DM us directly and keep you anonymous a little bit more. But obviously, we like you when you comment and share and like those posts that we'll be posting on Facebook and also here on YouTube. So don't forget to do that.
Right. Well, thank you for that all, Mr. B. I'm Mr. K. This has been the Brothers of the Unknown, and don't forget to stay weird.